You're making one right decision today. You're listening to Handcuffs and Sage.
Three badass moms bringing you all the true crime and paranormal your heart desires.
I'm Red.
I'm Timo.
I'm Dre. And don't let your kids listen. Seriously, just don't.
Hey, it's Handcuffs and Sage. Woo!
Hey!
This is Red.
Hey, this is Timo.
Hey, this is Dre. What's up, guys?
What's
Oh
up?
my goodness. You know what I was thinking about? Are you guys decorated for Thanksgiving or Christmas in your houses? That's what I want to know.
I'm crafting. So I'm crafting Christmas, but I'm up for Thanksgiving. I have a lot of Christmas around and it looks ridiculous.
No, not ridiculous. Fantastic. What about you?
It's just funny.
Well, I don't decorate really. My mom is the one that just loves to decorate. And with my mom's issues right now, I don't think she really remembers that she has stuff to decorate. So I'm not going to decorate for Thanksgiving. That's just not my jam. I don't, but I will do Christmas. So I always do the tree is my thing. And then every little knick-knacky and everything else. Like back in the day, we changed like the toilet paper roll and the towels and this and that, everything that was, salt and pepper shakers, the mugs, the glasses, the dishes, everything was Christmas. But we got rid of a lot of that stuff because I'm like, we ain't got no room for that, girlfriend. We're going from a big house to a little itty bitty condo. We don't have room for that. So we got rid of a lot of stuff. But my condo's teeny tiny. I have one of those like pencil thin, skinny, tall Christmas trees, and that's our Christmas tree because that's all I can fit. And it's a fakie and whatever, but I decorate it all nice. I'll do that for Christmas. I have to because with all the shit that's happening in the world, I need to have something, to bring joy.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
A lot of people are decorating for Christmas as we speak, like right
Yes.
now. They have everybody that I know has like something going on. So I'm like, I don't feel so bad, but I'm decorating so much for Thanksgiving that I don't even miss Christmas yet. Like I don't feel like I need it. I'm like one of those rare people this year that's super going all out. You guys are going to be like blown away when I show you what I'm doing.
Ooh.
So it's gonna be like Christmas sweat, and then Christmas is gonna come the day after Thanksgiving and like bam, I'm gonna go from orange to red.
Bam. I love it. Well, that's
So, Dre,
our plan. That's our plan.
You see right there?
Yeah. Oh,
so I finally hung it up. Dre made this thing for when we did our little event last month, and it's a high hope sign. And I'm still going to say I stole it from Dre, but Dre actually gave it to me. But I hung it up finally, and I'm just so in love with it because I have bright red walls, and this is my bedroom, y'all, not my home. But it's so
for all your naughty things you do in that red room.
Yeah, that's
naughty girl. That's right. Hey, I feel like I am being stuck doing Thanksgiving like all out this year because our whole family usually gets together, right? Everybody comes from their different states and we go to my dad's house. It's like my favorite time. I get to see all my sisters and nieces and nephews and love on them. And that's not happening this year. So we're doing Thanksgiving at our house. So it's totally decked out Thanksgiving style. And I'm really trying to be in the spirit of Thanksgiving. I have like this thing hanging above that every day I write on a leaf, like things I'm thankful for, and I hang it up. I'm trying to get into the spirit of that. I'm not going to let 2020 fuck with me that much, but I see everyone decorating for Christmas, so I can't wait.
I think it's just like a mental, it's like mental healing kind of thing. Like, I'm a ball humbug when it comes to Christmas, y'all. I don't know. I just don't dig it. But I'm going to dig it this year because I have to be like mentally stable.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I'll be Krampus this year.
I was keeping in the spirit of November and Thanksgiving and a true crime story. And this one is so crazy. And I'm really excited to share it with you guys. It's one that I haven't heard about and I don't hear a lot of people talking about. So I'm kind of happy to share this person's life with you guys. And So the true crime story I'm going to do today is about Ashley Scott. Have you guys heard about Ashley Scott? No, a lot of people haven't heard about her, and she's like this amazing person. So I'm glad I get to tell her story. But of course, it is a Thanksgiving murder. My son always comes up to me like when he knows we're going to record. He's like, "Are you doing conspiracy theories or murder?"
I could totally hear him saying that.
I love him.
You know, he's taking French, so when I text him now, he answers me in French, and I'm like,
excellent.
I don't know French. Rude.
Excellent. I love him even more now.
Excellent. Oh, okay, let's do it, you guys. Buckle up. I'm really going to try to hit a lot of things about this story and really share with you about Ashley and how absolutely amazing she was. Seriously. So Ashley Scott was a creative writing teacher, and she worked at Bolton High School in Arlington, Tennessee. And this is about 30 miles from Memphis, where she lived with her husband, Jeffrey Scott. Now, Memphis is such a unique place to go visit. I don't know, have you guys ever been to Memphis?
No.
I think I just drove through.
Okay, so when we went to Crime Con,
sorry, that's like one of my fave songs.
What was that? Keep going.
I was trying to do my share. I was trying to do my share impression. It didn't go, over very well. So
no, I think you killed it. So
and the when we went to and everything. So I just don't want us to get in trouble. So
you don't own the rights to this song?
No. You guys know I went to Graceland, right? In Memphis.
What?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Graceland.
It was amazing. So ever since my husband and I got together, Elvis has always been such a huge part of our lives, like huge. I joke that I really wanted one of those stupid Vegas weddings where Elvis like married you.
Yes, I did too, girl.
He kind of refused, and I was like, whatever. Okay, fine. You can have your normal stuff. This is why
I love you, Jay. Me and you. We could do vow renewals in Vegas together. How about that?
Yes. So like, I made sure they played like one of his songs during the wedding thing, and he looked at me, and I was like, hee hee.
It's Elvis.
It was great. We went to the Heartbreak Hotel. We stayed there, and then we ate. We took a pink Cadillac to this restaurant and had catfish out of the river that was caught in the river that morning. It was so good. Yeah. And
you made some memories.
Then we went to Graceland. It was awesome. I have so many pictures.
Yeah, that will be on my bucket. I want to do like the haunted tour at Memphis, Graceland though.
Yeah.
I dig everything about that. Yeah, Memphis, of course, known for music, and it's known for the civil rights movement, right? It's really an amazing place. So when we went to Nashville for Crime Con, I had no idea, but they really have like this rivalry, Memphis and Nashville, about music and who has the better music going on. I just thought that was really interesting. And they really talk shit about like whose barbecue is better. Oh, you want that Memphis barbecue? You know what I mean? It was really interesting. Very interesting.
That'd be a good way to get people to cook for you. Well, let me try it. I don't know.
And now I need to try barbecue.
I'll come to your house and then I'll go to theirs and then I'll let you know whose was better. Okay.
Yes, I dig it. So they lived in Memphis, but she worked a little bit away from Memphis. Okay. So her husband, Jeff, worked at his father's tech firm. And they were, married and starting their life off together. Ashley was born November 4th, 1978, and her parents were Maya and Dennis Youngblood. What a fantastic last name.
Yes.
OMG. Like, I heard that, and I had to, go back. Youngblood, that's awesome last name. But
were they vampires?
Oh, my gosh. But her parents actually ended up getting a divorce, and Maya remarries Jimmy Wayne Pittman, and he actually later adopts Ashley. But all three are in her life. She has an amazing childhood, right? She's this really happy kid with lots of people that love her. And it seems like her childhood is just on the mark, right? She's just a really great kid, really smart. Ashley was this gorgeous girl. She was tan and blonde, you know, everything I wanted to be when I was younger. And, you know, everyone really liked her. She was very outgoing, and she graduated from Parkway High School in 1996. Okay. Mm-hmm. So Ashley and Jeffrey met and fell in love at Wichita Baptist University. Okay. So they're there for an education, and then they start just getting it on. So Ashley graduates in 2000 with her teaching degree, which is awesome. I bow down to all teachers. The couple seems really happy, and then they move to Cordova, Tennessee. And all of a sudden, Ashley gets very disconnected from her family and friends. Okay. All of a sudden, and there's no fight or anything like that. They later talk about it, like nothing bad happened. It was just slowly but surely, she just, you know, wasn't able to call them, couldn't see them, right? So those are red flags. We've talked about this before. So she's slowly disconnected from family and friends, and then none of them are invited to her wedding, which just kills my mom heart, right?
Yeah.
Really sad. Oh, it's your wedding. Awful. So Jeffrey obviously is isolating her from friends and family. And it said that he's very open about his dislike for all of them, right? He'll just talk shit about them all day, every day. He's a dick. And if anyone's been a McFuckface that I've talked about on this podcast, he is a McFuckface. And we'll get into all the McFuckery that he does, okay? He's very controlling with her. In 2003, Ashley becomes a student teacher at Polarville High School. And she's working under Elizabeth Sisman. And so, you know, as a student teacher, that you are an assistant to a teacher in the classroom, right? They're basically teaching you how to be a teacher. She becomes like very close with Elizabeth. And Elizabeth talks about how she instantly liked Ashley, how the students loved Ashley, how she had this amazing way of just memorizing and knowing quotes from famous authors, but then in the same beat could start singing all the lyrics to like Black Eyed Peas songs, right? So super cool chick. Everyone likes her. Ashley ends up calling Elizabeth her Yoda, and Elizabeth will call her Luke Skywalker. So they have this really nice working friendship relationship, which is really sweet to hear about. Ashley once told Elizabeth that when she's teaching, she felt like she was exactly doing what she was meant to do in life. And I thought that, what an amazing feeling to have. Like, this is it. This is what I'm supposed to do, and I am doing it. So she was meant to be a teacher, and she was a really, really good teacher. One of Ashley's friends, Lori Mitchum, said that they had been friends since the 5th grade, and was one of the few friends that Ashley was allowed to have contact with still after she was with Jeff and married to Jeff. And it's really sad that her world really got isolated, and I think that really affected her later on. We'll talk about all of that. But Lori seems quite lovely and says wonderful things about Ashley. She said, Ashley loved people. She made friends instantly and was really, really funny. And if, you know, you see the pictures of Ashley, you can find images. She looks like fun. She looks like someone I would totally hang out with and have a good time with. And she really does have like this brightness to her. So she just sounds wonderful. So buckle up. All right, here we go. I'm going to take a sip of my kava tea, right, to keep calm. We're going to keep calm. Everyone drink your kava tea. Okay. So Memphis, Tennessee dispatcher Paula Haygood gets a call from Jeffrey Scott. She alerts her supervisor. She thinks that this could be a possible homicide, but she says that on the phone, Jeffrey's really calm, and he just says his wife is unconscious, but still breathing. But she said he was very calm. She says that she hears in the background a man speaking saying, "No, she's not breathing. I think she's dead." Mm-hmm. Yes. Memphis police officer Sloan Liddell is the first to respond to the scene. Sloan walks in. He sees a man giving a woman CPR. And this man is Dr. Robert McGee, and he's a friend of Jeffrey Scott's. And he was actually the man that you could hear in the background on that call saying, "I think she's dead." Okay. So Dr. McGee is actually, friends with them. He's with his family at the time he gets a call from Jeff. He's in the car with his family, and this is taking place Thanksgiving Day. So he's with his family. It's nearing the end of the day, and Jeffrey is calling him. And he says, "Can you come over, check on Ashley? She's been drinking. I can't get her to wake up, very calm, right? No alarm going off. And so the doctor, Robert, actually asked, have you guys both been drinking? Kind of thinking, this is going to be a situation. So he actually takes his family home and then goes to the Scott residence. And something that Jeffrey says is, make sure to come alone. Don't bring anyone. Don't call anyone.
That feels alarming.
Yeah. So he gets there, obviously insists, he calls 911. She is severely beaten. Severely beaten. Jeff was immediately detained when the police officers arrive. He's put in a police vehicle. He tells Officer Liddell that they just argued about a text message on her phone. It was just an argument and just something on her phone. Very calm. Not upset at all, right? So Officer Liddell, he, tapes off the whole scene. He goes inside. He's looking around, taking things in. He sees that in the kitchen on the table, he sees, Ashley's phone, her passport, and her purse are all out next to each other, right? Looking like someone's about to leave, right? And then next to that is a printed out email next to a laptop, okay? In the garage are two cars. His Jeep Wrangler and her Volkswagen Bug are inside. Inside of her car, there's clothes in the car, a bunch of her clothes that are still on the hangers, like thrown into the car, right? On the floor of the garage, there's a pillow and a blanket with some like blood stains on it. Okay. I know. So he's just taking in the scene, and this is what he's seeing. So Carrie Garman, a paramedic with the fire department, is one of the first medical responders to show up. Okay. And he sees that this is blunt force trauma to the head. He sees trauma all over the body because they have to like cut up her clothes, right? See what's going on. They're cutting up the clothes, and there are bruises everywhere all over her body. Okay. Her pupils are dilated, and there's bloody vomit coming from her mouth and nose. She has like raccoon eyes. So she's got some bruising. She's got bruising behind the ears. And this just made me like tense up. She had cauliflower ear.
That means she was taking beat after beat after beat after beat. That's what boxers get.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
No.
So, right, we see all these like professional fighters and they get this because that's what they do all day, every day, right? They take beatings to those ears and you get cauliflower ear. And she had that, you guys. Right?
Makes me want to cry.
It makes really me want to cry, this piece of shit. Ugh. A shoe print bruise is found on her back. So he uses a defibrillator to shock her. He tries this 4 times. He's pumping her full of medication to restart the heart, right? This is not going well. They transport her to Baptist Memorial Hospital, okay? There's an ER nurse, Michelle Anbo, and she said that when she arrived, she was in critical condition. Dr. Miguel Rodriguez was an ER doctor. He said, wow, she had bruises all over her body consistent with a severe beating. And there were different shades showing a pattern of abuse, right? So some were healing, some were new. Fucking awful, right? He said that there was actually another bruise on her side that looked like the front toe of a boot. So she took a beating. She was kicked, yes. All over her body. She had suffered a massive head trauma and she was brain dead. So there was nothing they could do. They had to take her off the ventilator and I guess she just died like immediately. During the autopsy, they found 50 bruises and contusions all over her body. The cause of death was subdural hematoma to the right side of her brain, causing a massive hemorrhage and swelling, cutting off the oxygen to her body, causing cardiac arrest, which shut down her organs. Okay, so she was hit so hard on her left side that her brain hit the right side of her skull, right? That cut off the oxygen, that shut down her organs, right? Like awful. They said if she had gotten immediate medical attention, she would have lived. Okay. Jeff later told someone he didn't, call his friend Robert McGee, this doctor, for 13 hours after this argument. He keeps calling it just a little argument. What a piece of shit. After their argument, he had her sleep in the garage on the floor with a pillow and a blanket for her to like learn her lesson, you guys. And obviously she just laid there hemorrhaging. Just what a piece of shit, right? So her friend, Lori, her schoolmate, right, said in 2005, Jeff would call her all the time to complain about Ashley, right? He wanted to call her friend and just bitch about her, which is super gross to me. He would always talk about her like drinking all the time. She's out of control. She's hanging out with this chick, Blair Brown, and she's like this bad influence. She's always falling down because she's drunk and then getting hurt and not remembering what happened the next day. So part of me is like, okay, is he just saying this to kind of set the stage, like her bruises are from falling, right? This shit, right? And we'll hear about Blair Brown later because she is something else, y'all. So he was always just complaining about Ashley. I used to want to have kids, but I am not going to have kids with her. She's a gross person. Just, he's awful, right? And Lori was like, hey, Jeff, guess what? I'm Ashley's friend. These calls to me are useless. No matter what you say, I'm on Ashley's side. And I just love Lori. She was like, I'm not having it. Why are you doing this, right? Not happening, friend. So one of the final calls that Jeff made to Lori he said, oh, well, we're in couples therapy now and I won't call you again. Well, thank God. I don't think Lori would pick up anymore. She was sick of Jeff. After this, couples therapy statement, Ashley was actually taking Lori's calls again. Okay. And she was very open and told her about her fucked up ass marriage. All of a sudden, she's really sharing with Lori, what's going on. He says that Jeff just calls her names all the freaking time. He loves to call her a whore, that she's a terrible role model. She's not fit for teaching. She just goes on and on about this verbal abuse from Jeff that happens 24/7, but she does not talk about the physical abuse. Okay. She doesn't talk about these beatings. She last saw Ashley in September of 2006. It was actually for a high school reunion, which is super fun. They were like going to get together and do like girl time reunion. Woo. So they got together. They went shopping for the reunion, which is super cute. But Ashley was worried about spending any kind of money. She said, if I spend any money, Jeff would kill her. Can't spend any money, right? Not allowed. Lori says Jeff calls her nonstop all weekend long. Just would not stop calling her. On the way, they're on the way to the reunion. They're ready to have a good time. He calls her. He wants to know exactly what she's wearing and that she has to describe every single thing that she has on to him. So this is the type of shit that she's dealing with, which is awful, right? Awful. So Lori later on tries to talk to Ashley about, her marriage, what's going on? What can we do here? But Ashley is like, look, I'm here for this class reunion. I want to have fun. I don't want to ruin the trip by talking about Jeff. So let's talk about just positive things, right? So she doesn't want to talk about Jeff on the trip. Let's have fun. And that happened 2 months before her death. The Wednesday before Thanksgiving, right? Everyone is getting ready for Thanksgiving in the normal world, right? We're all making a plan for every goddamn thing we're going to shove in our mouth the next day. And poor Ashley is living just a completely different life. They are not consumed with Thanksgiving plans. They have just chaos going. It is just total chaos in their lives. And that Wednesday before Thanksgiving, Ashley calls her divorce lawyer. Maybe I need more kava tea. Yeah. Okay. Do it. So she calls her divorce lawyer, Rachel Thongston, and they had been talking, becoming friends for a little over a year at this point. What happened is Ashley got Rachel's number from a mutual friend. She was actually calling her to, get a name of maybe a criminal lawyer that could help her. She had gotten a DUI and needed help with that case. But then she was talking to Rachel and she realized, oh, she's a divorce lawyer, right? So she's talking to Rachel and she says, maybe you could give me some advice for a friend who is being abused. What advice could you give my friend, right? And Rachel says, your friend should leave that relationship immediately. Should not be in that relationship. And Rachel said, yeah, I didn't think she was talking about a friend. I assumed it was about her, right? But she didn't tell her at that point. Ashley had gotten a DUI in August of 2005, which really sucks. She had been at a bar with Jeff. They were drinking. And then out of nowhere, Jeff becomes a McFuckface and he is calling her a whore, that she dresses like a whore, and tell her just to fucking leave. So she gets in her car, she drives away, she gets pulled over and she gets this DUI. Okay. Rachel saw her in October 2005. She said that Ashley had this huge lump on the side of her head. And she asked her, that friend you were talking about, was that actually you? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And Ashley was like, I don't know if I want to talk about this. And Rachel said, look, if I'm your attorney, then we have that attorney-client privilege, right? And I can't share anything you say to me, right? You can tell me anything. I can't tell anyone. If you retain me as your lawyer. And Ashley said, I don't have any money to
Give me
retain
$1.
you.
I love that. I love that when that happens. Yeah. Any amount of money retains an attorney. So yeah, just give me a penny. Right. I'm yours.
Right. Yep. And that's exactly what Rachel said. She said $1 would be enough to retain her. And so Ashley pulled out 4 quarters.
That is crazy.
I'm going to cry. I can't handle this.
Yes. You're right. I know.
Yes. And Rachel said, are you the friend? And Ashley said, yes, I'm the friend. I am in the abused relationship. And so Rachel says, you need to leave Jeff immediately. And here's some options, things you can do when you leave him. And Ashley told her, I can't leave him. I'm not going to leave him. He will kill me. He will kill me if I leave. And that he has been hitting her since college. So this had been going on for 8 years. Okay. So
sad.
Because of the isolation and control, Ashley really had to be sneaky with meeting with Rachel. So they always had to meet in person, and Ashley would call her like from payphones or maybe different businesses, because Jeff would check her cell phone constantly for any weird numbers, right? He's in her phone, whatever. So Ashley once called her from a tanning salon, and they actually met there at the tanning salon. Rachel said she walked up and Ashley was there with a bandage all over her chin that Jeff had, knocked her down, kicked her. And as she was being knocked down, she hit a piece of furniture that just like busted open her chin. Okay. Yeah. I mean, she's full on abused completely, 100%. So remember the teacher that she was assisting when she was first a student teacher, Elizabeth. She later testifies at trial that she saw black eyes and bruises on her all the time. Just always had black eyes and bruises. In September of 2006, she met with her at Bolton High School. She said that she was telling Elizabeth a story that, she had gone to this class reunion with her friend, but when she got back from the class reunion, she shows up at home, and Jeff tells her that he had, a prostitute over at the house, and starts going through all of Ashley's things in her suitcase from her trip. He's screaming at her, calling her names, calling her a whore, right? He's just out of control, right? And Ashley says, well, maybe if I dress like a whore, you wouldn't have a prostitute in the house, right? So that's what she says back to him. And he knocks her down. He puts his foot on her throat, and she's just begging him to stop. She says, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. And he says, I don't want you to breathe.
Oh, no.
How fucking terrifying is that?
That is terrifying.
That's terrifying. He would call her names all the time. And Ashley said that she was depressed. She did have a drinking problem. Okay. She said she couldn't go a day without drinking. And a lot of times she doesn't even remember going to bed. Okay. So she's obviously depressed. She's dealing with her depression with alcohol. And she's depressed because she's in this really abusive relationship. And if you feel like if you leave, you're going to be killed, that weighs on somebody, right?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Weighs on you. So this guy, Paul Dooley, he's from Bolton High School. He's actually the department chair He also calls himself a mentor and friend to Ashley. He says he knew about the DUI, and she had actually opened up to him about the verbal abuse that was happening. And this happened like fall 2005, that she like kind of, you know, shared with him about verbal abuse. But again, doesn't mention the physical abuse. And she kind of does this with a lot of people. Like she opens up a little bit, but she's not telling everybody exactly what's going on. Mm-hmm. Okay. You know, he says that she starts missing a lot of work. And when she comes back from being gone, she's just covered in bruises. She's just, it's a mess. Students later testified that they saw all of this too, which is really sad. That they said that she would wear long sleeve shirts even when it was really hot outside. And y'all, it gets hot in Memphis, and she's wearing long sleeve shirts. She was trying to cover up where the bruises were. They said that she would like try to cake on makeup sometimes, but you could still see the bruises even though she tried to like hide it with makeup. And they would sometimes ask her about bruises. They said Ashley would laugh it off and say, oh, I walked into a cabinet. Oh, right. It's so sad because she just minimizes and minimizes what's happening to her, right? And it really does seem through all of this that she's like in deep denial about the situation. Anytime Jeff does something bad, she does not call the police. And when she shares, she doesn't share everything with everybody, right? She's scared. She's scared. Paul said he was very, very concerned about Ashley, that in mid 2006, this had gotten to like a heightened point. He was kind of freaking out at like 3 a.m. in July. He gets a call from Ashley. She's crying. She says, you know, Jeff and her had a fight, that Jeff had hit her and strangled her. So this is a crazy fact, you guys, I'm going to lay on you. When somebody is in an abusive relationship and the abuser strangles that person is 10 times more likely to be killed by that abuser if there's been that strangulation in the relationship.
Wow.
Yes. So this is really bad. Really bad. So he's beating her and he's strangling her. Red flags all over the place. Paul tells Ashley.
So I'm sorry. You know what's so sad about this is that she has friends around her, but she's not able to say anything.
Yeah.
Because she's so afraid. And it just makes me so sad, because I feel like if any of my friends were dealing with something like this, I would want to know and I would want to help them and freaking send them to Canada or something. You know,
Canada.
Like,
Canada,
let's go.
Yeah. Just white van it all the way.
But you know what? It's that battered wife syndrome. And
I know.
I not personally, but I was involved in some type of situation like this. And we all knew it was happening. And we told the person, and it didn't phase her. She just kept on dealing with it. Like, even when it
becomes their new normal.
Change is scary.
Yes. It's terrifying. You know, Paul said that he said to Ashley, you need to leave him right now, right? You need to call the police. She said, I will not call the police. So again, she should have called the police. She was too scared, so she didn't. He says that she was once this really outgoing, vivacious, you know, young person just starting off in their career as a teacher. And now she's despondent. She's depressed, right? She's just like a completely different person. So Rachel, her divorce attorney, later testifies at trial that she had called her later in the day on November 22nd. So this is a day before Thanksgiving and a day before her murder. Ashley told Rachel, I have the filing fee for the divorce. Wow. Big step, right? Big step. Rachel told her, I'm in Nashville, so I can't get that for you, right? She's probably with family for Thanksgiving. She's in Nashville. But she tells Ashley that you should go now. You should leave him right now. And Ashley says, well, I need to go get my things from the house. And then she asks Rachel, should she tell Jeff that she's leaving? And Rachel said, absolutely not, right? Do not tell him, right? Get away. That's what we need to do right now. And Ashley is like, I feel like I owe him an explanation. And that made me so sick to my stomach.
Right.
That she felt like she owed him anything, right? I'm sure he made her feel like everything was her fault. And to me, if she still thinks that she owes him anything, is a sad state of affairs, because he has been beating her for years and years and strangling her. You know, and like I had mentioned before, right? Her clothes were found on hangers in her car. Her passport was out, right? So it looked like she was grabbing her stuff, right, to go. Okay. So Jeff cheated on her. Of course, Jeff cheated on her. Of course he did. But he always complained to everybody that she was a whore and cheated on her constantly with multiple lovers, right? He would always say this. And there was one proven in court of infidelity on Ashley's part, okay? But Jeff had a very long affair with somebody during the marriage, of course, to Blair Brown. Well, her full name is Virginia Blair Brown. Remember when Jeff was telling her friend Lori that she was hanging out with the bad influence, Blair Brown? That's this hoe. That's the one he be having a long ass affair with. The shittiness of this all, right? So he has this long affair with Blair. So Blair actually worked with Jeff at his father's company. She had started back in March of 2000. And this was before they got married, but she later testified that she had an on again and off again sexual relationship with Jeff from December 2002 till like mid 2005. And then after having this long affair, hold on to your butts here, becomes very good friends with Ashley.
What a bitch. What?
So I'm going to take a sip of kava tea over here.
Woosah.
Can't even believe this shit. So she becomes besties with Ashley, right? And she says that Jeff had told Ashley about the affair. I don't know if Jeff actually told. I don't know if that. It's hard for me to wrap my mind around that. He was like, hey, babe, just letting you know, totally fuck this chick for 3 years. You know, you can be friends. Totally cool.
Yeah, no.
Perf.
Well,
right?
I don't know. I mean, he's controlling. He's a fucking prick. Maybe he did.
Maybe he did.
Maybe he did.
The fucked upness of this, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really is. So Ashley and Blair are friends, and I guess Ashley would go over to Blair's house after like really bad fights with Jeff. Okay. And on one occasion, she saw Jeff assault Ashley. So Ashley had come over after a really bad fight to get away. Jeff comes over to Blair's house. He busts inside the house and Ashley is in the back room, like laying on the bed. He comes into the room out of nowhere and punches her 3 times in the back. Hard. And Blair says that she's like pulling Jeff off of Ashley and kicks him out of her house. You're gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, hey girl, holy fuck, you need to call the police. And guess what Ashley said?
No,
I'm not calling the police. She won't call the police on this fucker. It makes me so mad. He just does whatever he wants. Oh, I hate this guy so much. So this is a really sad story, you guys. Are you ready? Okay. We're going to get through this part together. And Jeff once hurt Ashley's dog. So apparently they were in Jeff's Jeep. So Jeff is driving, Ashley's in the front seat, and she's holding the dog, and they were maybe fighting. He grabs the dog and he throws the dog out onto the road as they're driving.
Fuckhead.
Little fucker. So Ashley calls Blair. She's hysterical. Blair goes and meets them at the vet's office. So he throws the dog. They take the dog to the vet because Ashley loves the dog. Blair shows up. The dog, is really injured and takes weeks to recover from this bullshit. The dog lives, so that's good. But, I didn't know this, and I'm surprised I haven't heard this before, but I guess that's another thing that abusers do, is they will take someone's beloved pet and do terrible things to their pet as a way to control a person.
Yep.
And that, what the fuck?
They'll almost to the point will be like, okay, I'll do whatever you want, but don't hurt my dog.
Yes.
You better not hurt my dog. I'm doing.
Yes. Buffalo yes. Bill.
Silence of
we
Lamb.
know, honey. That's right.
Yes.
Okay.
You would.
Oh my God. That's so fucked up. That is so fucked up. And I guess, Ashley had talked about the dog getting hurt, right? And one of the students at trial said that Ashley just said, oh no, the dog had an accident. She wasn't like, oh, Jeff's a piece of shit and threw my dog out the window, right? Of course not. All of this is really sad. So Blair is telling this story at the trial where her and Ashley are out, right? They're at a bar, they're drinking, and they meet this guy named Michael Lowe. And Ashley and Michael have an affair. And Blair is claiming that this, affair went on for a year. And it was also there was no proof of that this was a long standing affair or anything like that. One time Michael and Ashley, I guess, went over to Blair's house to have some mommy daddy time. And Blair, Ashley's friend, calls Jeff to tell him. Yeah. Yeah. So Blair's on the stand and she must know she sounds like an awful person, right?
Yeah.
What a great fucking friend. And she's trying to defend herself. Oh, well, at the time I felt like Ashley was using me, using my place, and I felt frustrated. Blair, didn't you have sex with her husband for 3 years?
For 3 years.
How about you check yourself? You check yourself, and you should always be buying the drinks whenever y'all go out. Okay, Blair? She's shitty. So Michael Lowe is called to testify at the trial. I want to stop here and say that, of course, at this trial, they are trying to make the victim look bad, right? The defense attorney goes hard on Ashley. The woman that was beaten for years and then killed on Thanksgiving Day? Yeah. That's what I hate about all this. And you know, her family and friends are at this trial hearing it. It's disgusting to me. So, of course, Michael Lowe is called to testify. And he, you know, he's actually minimizing the relationship also. Like, it wasn't this like long, intense love affair, whatever the fuck Blair bitch ass says, that they had sex 4 times, right?
In 3 years?
From the time that they had like met. Blair had said this thing had been going on for a year. It was like this, whatever. Michael's like, look, we had sex like 4 times. And this happened like shortly before the murder. Okay. So it wasn't like what Blair was saying. The defense attorney, Leslie Ballin, obviously I hate Leslie, but her last name's Ballin, and that is pretty Ballin. She actually got a subpoena. She subpoenaed the AT&T technician, you know, to get Ashley's cell phone records to prove this affair was more serious than Michael is saying. But back, you know, in 2006, they didn't have the technology to get full transcripts of texts like they can do today, right? You know, what they could get was like what phone numbers, who was texting who, right? You know, was a picture sent, but they can't see the picture. Okay, that's all they could get. So they could see that, you know, from October 29th, 2006 to November 22nd, 2006. So that's about a month, which was like right before her murder. That's when Ashley and Michael were having these texts back and forth. And that 5 images were sent on November 22nd. And they were saying that they were like graphic pictures that were sent. Ashley was trying to keep it hot with Michael, and she was sending him pictures. That's right. That's what they're saying, you know, at the trial for her murder. Right. I hate that. And apparently they think that this is what that small argument was about that Jeff said they had, you know, that little argument was him finding these images on her phone that he checked nonstop. Little argument. Yeah. So Ashley's gynecologist testified at the trial that she saw Ashley on November 14th of 2006. So what is that? Like a week?
2 weeks.
A little over a week before her murder. Ashley was going on medication to increase ovulation because they were going to have a baby.
Oh, God.
The defense attorney, Leslie Ballin, she calls realtor Lisa Harris, and she testifies that Jeffrey and Ashley had just bought a new home and had signed the contract for that new home on November 14th, the same day she saw the gynecologist about getting on medication to help her get pregnant. Okay. I feel like maybe Jeff is promising her new life, right? I'll be good. Let's get a house. Now let's have a baby. I'll be good. We all know that in abusive relationships, they do this, right? I'll be good. I'm sorry. Look, I can do all these amazing things.
I'll change.
Right. Blair, her really good friend Blair, saw her on November 22nd, the day before the murder. Ashley had taken Blair to go see the new house. She was super excited about it. They went to lunch. They had some drinks. Blair said she was super just happy about the house and the possibility of them having a baby. But then, you know, defense is like, yeah, but she's also at the same time texting Michael. Right. And it's like, look, this chick is in an abusive relationship. And obviously it fucks up your thinking. She has to know that relationship is bad. right? She has to know what's toxic and bad. So even though these things she can say she's excited about, her subconscious knows it's never going to change and it's bad. And maybe she could have this thing on the side, right? Maybe that's the light at the end of her tunnel, right? This is not a regular situation. So they said that the defense attorney, Leslie, laid groundwork for this to be second-degree murder, that poor Jeff had bought her a house, and, you know, they were going to have a baby, and Ashley was cheating on him, and oh, poor Jeff, he just couldn't take the abuse from Ashley anymore. You know, his heart hurt and he snapped. So that's what his attorney was saying, of course, right? So prosecutor Karen Cook tried to keep Michael Lowe off the stand, right? She didn't want Michael to testify, make Ashley look bad. And she also wanted this printed email that was found at the scene, you know, out of court. It was an email to her biological father, David Youngblood, right? They all had a good relationship still. So she had this email with her father, David, and it said, you know, Dad, thank you for the check you sent. You know, we were having some financial issues, and, you know, I have these expenses, and, you know, he's trying to teach her how to, like, maybe budget her money a little bit in the email thread, right? And she says in this email, Jeff would be mad if I asked for money. I'd rather run up a bill than ask him for any money. Please don't think less of me. And it's really sad because they're trying to make it look like she's bad with money, right? And that Jeff obviously found this email, of course. But really, one of the things he did was he was really controlling with the finances. Remember? Right. He wouldn't give her money. She couldn't spend money. So, you know, maybe this was a way for her to get money. Maybe that was the way she was going to pay for that divorce fee. Remember that filing fee? Right. I think that's probably what it was. But of course, she's making it look like, oh, dumb me. I'm so bad with money. Right? It's just fucking sad to me. So, you know, we're talking about things that abusers do. So financial control, they maintain dominance this way. She's keeping the abuse a secret, and she takes the blame a lot, right? It's my fault, done me, right? So Michael and Ashley didn't actually have sex until like a month before the murder, and it seems like she just is very conflicted with her marriage and maybe with Michael, and you know, all these things going on. So this is what they think happened. Okay, they think that Ashley went to lunch with Blair, right? They had a nice time. She comes home. Maybe her and Jeff are drinking, right? Because she was drinking at lunch. Maybe they continue to drink. Maybe he showed her the email he found because he was, of course, going through her laptop. Maybe he then said, let me see your phone. So it's escalating. Then he finds the images that she sent Michael, right? So then maybe he starts beating her. And they said that this beating was terrible, that her shoes were found in 2 different places in the house. Wow. It was just a freaking mess, right? He wants to say that, you know, that this was just a small argument, but that it got out of control, right? So Jeff says that this was just an argument that got out of hand, right? That she went and slept in the garage around 1 a.m. Who the fuck sleeps in a garage, by the way, homie? At 9 a.m., he went to, you know, go check on her. He puts her in front of the fireplace. And around noon, he takes her to the bed. He tries to lift her on top of the bed, but for some reason can't lift her on top of the bed because he's the weak ass bitch. And he leaves her on the floor. And that is where she is found later by Dr. Robert McGee, his friend that shows up to help. Dr. Robert McGee says that when he got to the house 6 hours later, right, after all of this supposedly happened, when he got there, that her hands and feet were like this bluish color, like gross looking, right? And Jeff was saying that he didn't know that she was hurt. Yeah.
Oh my God. Over 50 contusions and bruises, right? But he didn't know.
Right. So what they think happened, right, is that he knew she was fucked up, right? He knew that he beat her and it was bad, and that he left her in the garage, right, until morning time. That he put that pillow and blanket there to look like she had maybe slept there on her own accord. They think that Jeff waited for her to stop breathing, maybe, to call the doctor, right? Dr. Robert McGee later says, you know, when he calls me, it was like a totally casual call. He was like, how you doing? Did you have a nice Thanksgiving? Can you stop by to check on Ashley? She had a little bit too much to drink, right? And that he did not seem concerned. What the fuck, right?
What the fuck? Right.
The 911 call sounds like somebody said, it sounds like he's ordering breakfast, that he's totally calm, cold, disconnected, doesn't give a fuck on the 911 call, right? One of the officers said that after she's taken to the hospital, and remember he was detained and taken to the police station because he was charged with, you know, first degree murder. He only said one thing while he was there. And the one thing this piece of shit said was, who won the football game?
Fuck. Oh my God.
Holy fuck my life, dude. This motherfucker. I just want to claw his fucking face off. So at the trial, here we go. They're trying to say, defense is trying to say that she had something called alcoholic ketoacidosis, which caused seizures, and that she fell down a couple times. And that's how she got her bruises 2 times, right? Okay. But y'all remember everyone saying she was covered in bruises, you know, all the fucking time. I can understand, like, if she's the serious drinker, maybe that happening before, which is really sad. Maybe that did happen. But that does not account for all the other times.
And she fell on a shoe print, and she fell on a boot tip.
Yes. It's all
two shoe
Ashley's
prints.
fault.
Yeah.
All her fault. Okay, you guys? They had a Dr. O'Brien Clary Smith testify that this could be a possibility that this fucking happened. No, this was completely shot down with the rebuttal of an expert testimony by Dr. Lisa Fonte. She is the assistant medical examiner, Shelby County, and she listed in graphic detail of the over 50 bruises over her body and the blunt force trauma to her head. So let's say she had a seizure and she fell down. Okay. She hits her head, and let's say she hits an elbow. That's not 50 bruises.
No.
That's not old and new bruises. Okay. She's totally backed up by medical examiner Karen Chancellor, who goes over the autopsy photos with the jury. Oh my God, right? Fucking sad. And she says, look, this isn't from 2 falls. We can all see this isn't from 2 fucking falls from alcoholic ketoacidosis or whatever the fuck. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
This was a vicious beating. So they have the trial. A few hours go by. The verdict comes back, and he is found guilty of 2nd-degree murder.
Oh my God.
So basically defense won, right? That's really what they were going for. That he just snapped. That he had had enough, you guys, right? So the judge, which is so fucking badass, criticizes and talks shit to the jury about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. He says sometime in the morning, he could have called for help and he didn't. Yep. He had committed an atrocity, knew his wife was still breathing and did nothing. In my opinion, this is proof of murder in the first degree. I just think that the jury gave Mr. Scott an unbelievable break. This was a violent and atrocious crime. That's what the judge said to the jury. Like, you motherfuckers.
Absolutely.
Second degree murder after seeing all that. God, I feel so fucking bad for her family.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Jeffrey Scott gets 25 years without the possibility of parole. So that is fucking fantastic, right? Fuck you, McFuckface Jeffrey Scott, right?
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of like amazing things like happened after this. So the spring of the next year at prom, and I'm not going to cry, they decided to do a pink theme for Ashley. It was her favorite color. So at prom, everyone wore pink dresses, pink tuxedos, pink shoes, all for their teacher that they loved. Then the department chair, remember Paul Dooley that testified, he organizes a 5K every year in October for Ashley, and all the money and the proceeds goes to abused women's services. Fucking amazing.
Yeah, October is Domestic Violence Month.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So just remember that there was a lot of these red flags, right? He controlled her money. He isolated her. He criticized her. He called her names. He abused her dog. And these are all things that are used by abusers. So if you see these things happening, be there for your friends, right? If things are happening to you, I hope that you can make that police report. And if you do decide to leave, right, that is the most dangerous time for a woman when she leaves an abusive relationship, that you get somewhere safe and they don't know where you are, right? There's services for this, right? We've shared that phone number before. If you're in an abusive relationship and need help to get out. I think Ashley's amazing. I think her family and friends just absolutely loved her, and it's proof, that they continue to do things, in memory of her. And I hate that at trial, it was made to seem like any of this was her fault, because none of this was her fault. Right. Jeff's a McFuckface level 10, like seriously. So that's my story of Ashley Scott, you guys.
Where is this fucker now? Is he's still in jail, I suppose, right? And then in 25 years, he can get released. I hope he's getting like beat up in fucking jail every day.
I mean, I hope so. Sure.
Yeah.
We can all hope so.
Yeah.
Just all sorts of bad, nasty things coming your way, Jeffrey Scott. It's not in this lifetime, in the next. I hate this guy, but I love her family and friends that do these things and still in memory of her. I think that's really fantastic and a testament to her. Really.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, you guys. I'm glad I had the kava tea to get me through. Thanks, kava.
Yeah.
Thanks. Not sponsored. Buckle up.
Okay. Do you want to hear a little bit of Skinwalker Ranch?
Yes.
Because I'm continuing on with Skinwalker Ranch. So we ended with Travis, and they had just dropped off all the cows on the ranch, and he had mentioned that he couldn't wait to see how the cows reacted to the ranch, but also how the ranch is going to react to the cows, because now it's kind of like flashback, like now all the cows are back. So what's going to happen now? Is the same shit going to happen again? So this happens the next day now, and Travis is stoked because he got all his rocket equipment. They're going to do the same experiment like what they did with the weather balloon, but now what they're going to do is they're going to shoot a rocket up with all the equipment, and hopefully they can get to that mile point that they need to get to and record what they need to get to. So he gets out of the car. This cute little girl gets out of the car with him, and he's like, I want you guys to meet Caitlin Russell. She's a graduate from University of Alabama. She's my intern. She's a rocket builder extraordinaire, and she has studied aerospace engineering and rocketry. So this girl is like the rocket girl. So this is why he brought her there.
Pants on.
Yeah,
I know. And she's just like this plain Jane looking cutie pie, but you know, she can build these rockets like nobody's business. So hey,
she's a rocket badass.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So they have the table set, they're building up, you know, they're building all the rockets, they're hooking up all the equipment. So like kind of what they do is they put it in like a tube. They put all the equipment in the tube, and then the rockets built all around it. So as they're doing this, Jim Segala, he's like, you guys look over there. And all the cows have now migrated like way over to where they are. And they're just like all huddled together in this one spot. And they're like, this is so weird. And then like, they kind of make jokes. Yeah, they want to see the rocket launch too. La, 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 la. But it's like really weird. It's like they sense something is happening. Something's going to happen. So they, first launch, they're going to do the first launch, and it doesn't go very well. It shoots up, it goes, they're excited, right? And then it doesn't hit that mile point, and it flips back around. So it doesn't meet its, I guess it has to go certain, what's the word I'm looking for? It has to go, you know, certain height for it then to come down for the parachute to release. So it just falls to earth with no parachute. So they're like, he's like, heads up, people, heads up. And they go find the rocket, and it's pretty much, you know, done.
How much was the rocket? I want to know how much the rocket was.
Yeah. They bought
it just sounds like they have money to just do whatever the fuck.
Well, you know, it's History Channel. So History Channel, come on. They probably put some bucks into it. And then we got Brandon Fugel, who's like the gazillionaire. So he is throwing bucks left and right, whatever.
I want the History Channel to give me rockets and money.
I know, right?
Hey, history, hey.
So they're hoping that maybe they got some data before it crashed. So then they build the second rocket. They're going to go send the second rocket off. What they're going to have in the second rocket is a gamma ray detector. And what this does is it records an entire spectrum of radiation. So the spectrum starts at radio frequency, then it goes to infrared, then it goes to visible, then it goes to ultraviolet, and then gamma. Gamma is the last one. And that's what's like super, super dangerous to humans. And that's kind of what they've been recording at some of these, you know, events that they've been, you know, where the radiation is getting all bananas, and those are gamma rays. That's like, you know, you got to bone out, dude, get out of that, because you don't want that like radiation.
Cancer danger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's like your future children coming out with like two heads and, you know, stuff like that. Shit. Like, you know,
if you can have any after that.
Right. So they can tell from this detector also that if the radiation is coming from the ground or coming from above. So as the rocket goes up, if it's coming from above, then the meter is going to go, it's going to increase because you're getting closer and closer and closer to it. Whereas if it's coming from the ground and it's going up, it's going to decrease because the rocket's getting farther and farther and farther. So this is like a really cool experiment. Like, this little rocket that they're building is going to be able to tell them exactly where this is. So they're getting ready to do launch two, the second launch. And now they notice that the cows are like running in circles, and they're like running into each other. They're kind of fighting a little bit. And then they're like acting weird. They're like doing all this strange stuff. They're still in that same area, but they're like doing all this weird shit.
They're getting aggressive.
They're doing getting aggressive with each other. They're doing donuts, exactly. And they're just like acting just like not like what cows, you know, it's like what the fuck, right?
Yeah, they're super chill, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they notice this round, shiny object in the sky. Okay, so they haven't launched the second one up yet, but now they see this thing and they're like, "What is that?" Like, and all the guys are there. There's Travis and there's Tom. There's Jim Segala. There is Dragon, the little girl, Caitlin, and then Eric. So they're all out there. They are all looking up at the sky and they're like, "What the fuck is that?" And literally, they're like, "It's not a plane. What is that? That is totally crazy." So they're standing around. They're trying to find, figure out what this is. And Travis is like, "Let's get the rocket up. Let's get the rocket up. Because if this is something up there that we need to like examine, we need to, get up there and record while
is
this
the
is
object
happening."
moving?
It's kind of hovering, but then it's kind of moving like slow. Whereas if it's a plane, it couldn't get it could get to that, from point A to point B in a much faster speed than what this thing is doing. It's
so it's
kind of like
hovering.
Yeah,
it's doing what it wants.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So they launch the second one and it goes perfect. It goes right where it needs to go. The chute pops open. It starts floating down to Earth. And I forgot to mention, before they did the launch, the object shot off and disappeared. Okay, so it's still not up there when they do the second launch. It was like maybe there for like 10 seconds and then it disappeared, and then they did the launch. So now when this thing comes down with the chute, it worked, everything's cool. Travis is like super stoked. He's ecstatic. He's like, "Well, we might have some real data while we saw a real UFO."
UFO.
He's like, yeah. He's all, "That's our hero rocket." Like, he's just like so ecstatic. And then they go to an interview with Dragon. They cut to his interview and he's like, "All the time that I've spent on this ranch, I've never really seen anything. But right now, I actually saw what I consider to be a UFO." And he is just like in complete shock. He cannot believe what he just saw in the sky.
I mean, imagine having that day.
Right.
Saw a UFO today.
I think I saw a UFO today.
Legit saw.
I know. Fuck yeah.
A UFO.
Then they go to an interview with Travis, and he said, "I've heard all the stories of Skinwalker Ranch. I thought it was someone's overactive imagination, but I never thought I'd see a UFO in person here." So even Travis is like, "Dang, like what the fuck?" So they walk out to the field to get the rocket, and they just keep on talking about how they just can't believe that what they saw. They're like, there was no sound, there was no chemtrail. It's something that's not what we know it could be. And so Travis thinks that they actually caused this to happen when they started doing the first launch. When they sent the first one up, he kind of thinks, he's like, "Hey, maybe we like called it somehow, or maybe we did something to where they're like, 'Hey, what are you doing? We're going to come out and try and like,
we're going to check you out.
We're going to check out what the hell you're doing.'" Right. Yeah. Exactly.
They're looking at the aliens and the aliens are looking down at them. Super awkward.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like, who are these fools?
So they have equipment to build a third one. They really don't need to, but they're like, "Hey, for shits and giggles, let's put another one up and see what happens." And then you hear Tom say, "Hey, it's back." And they all run and they're looking up at the sky again. And that same fucking round, shiny object is back. And it's just kind of like cruising around. It's like not really moving. It's so crazy.
Are there any lights?
No, there's no lights. It's in the daytime. No, it's in the daytime. So you just see this like shiny thing.
Fantastic. I love it.
So it's so weird because off to the right, you see an actual plane flying, and you can see the chemtrail, and you can see the speed of what the plane is flying at. And it looks like it's kind of like following the plane, which is like so fucking scary if you think about it. Like,
but you can see the difference in what the plane looks like and what the UFO looks like.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That's a great contrast to have.
Oh my God, it's so crazy. And so then it starts to follow the plane, and then it just kind of fades out and disappears. And they're like, it's gone. But they're just like surprised again. They're like, oh my God, we saw it for a second time. And there was a plane there. Now we know it's not like what a plane is. They're just freaking out, right? So then all of a sudden, Eric's like, the flight transponder. So they have that flight transponder command center where he can see where all the commercial flights are flying. He can see everything.
Oh,
so
yeah.
he goes in there and he checks it out. He can see the plane's flight plan, but there's nothing else. Nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
So I got chills. What the fuck?
Yeah.
They're multiplying.
I
don't know the rest of the song.
So Eric comes back out and he's telling them, and then all of a sudden Dragon is like, you guys, I'm like so nauseated all of a sudden. And they're wearing those special watches that Brandon got them. Mm-hmm. And he's checking it, and he's just been like kind of hanging out. He hasn't been really doing anything. His blood pressure is super high, his heart rate is super high, and he's very nauseated. And they start to freak out. They're like, well, that's not normal, take it easy. Maybe this has something to do with what's going on, but good thing that you said something to us, so that if something bad
could it be from
happens,
excitement? Just like the excitement of seeing it. I'm being serious. Like, I mean, we react.
It could be. Because he did say, yeah, as long as I've been here, I've never really seen anything. He could be like freaking out, like, oh shit, whatever.
Yeah.
Possibility. 110% possibility. Mm-hmm. So they do the third launch, goes great. All the guys then go into the control room and they're going to review all the data. So they're looking at video of the sky where they saw the UFO to see if they actually caught it on camera, because, the History Channel's recording. I guess they had a camera that was recording too, and they can see it. They caught it on camera perfectly. Ooh. Pops up super bright in the middle of the screen. Mm-hmm. They zoom into it as far as they could zoom into it, right? And it just looks like this, like shiny. I mean, it's not clear. It's bouncy, but it's like you're like, what the fuck is that, right?
In this day and age, everything's super clear. Yeah. I expect it.
And it's traveling super slow, and it's there for 10 seconds and it disappears. So on top of all this is happening, they start looking at the data of the gamma ray detector that was in the rocket during this time. And they found that at the very highest point, so at that mile point that they needed to get to, there was so much energy above the ranch. The gamma rays were absolutely like outrageous at that point. Wow. And they have no clue where that came from. Like it's not known to science, like that's possible. We're just randomly in the sky, there's these like high gamma rays. So
can that cause nausea?
It can, but the gamma rays are like the highest, most dangerous radiation that you could receive, but this was at that mile point, so I don't know if that could affect them down there or not at that point. Mm-hmm. So Dragon's like, we got to call Brandon and let him know what the fuck is going on, because this is fucking bananas. So they call Brandon, and Brandon asks if could this have been a satellite. He's trying to recognize all different aspects before he immediately goes into
you have to look at all options.
And Travis is like, no way, because it's not following any orbital motion at all. So whatever that means in Travis scientific talk. And then Brandon is curious that maybe it's reacting to all the experiments that they just did. And that's exactly what Travis said too. So they're all kind of like on the same page. They're like, dude, we might have called these things to come and say, hey, what's up? What are you doing?
I'm super pissed. I have been calling for a UFO.
I know.
Entire freaking life.
Dang, I know.
Rude.
So then they go to an interview with Brandon, and he's like, as a kid, I never had any experiences with UFOs, paranormal, nothing, until I came to Skinwalker Ranch. He said 2 years ago, mid-daylight, he saw a UFO above the mesa. It was a 40 to 50 foot saucer aircraft, like a disc-like aircraft, and it just moved in a blink of an eye, and then it was gone. And they have pictures of it, so that you can see. I'll put that too on social media, where you can see this disc-like shiny thing like flying over the mesa.
That's so cool.
So that's where episode 4 ends. So I was continuing on with episode 4, and now episode 5 is starting, and this one is called Dangerous Curves. So
ooh, that's all about me. Episodes about Reddit.
Yeah.
What? I've heard that a couple times, honey.
The curves that they're gonna talk about is gonna give you freaking heebie-jeebies, man, because it's getting
I can't handle any more heebie-jeebies. I'm freezing.
Just wait.
I am freezing right now. If you give me the heebie-jeebies, I'll explode.
Just wait. Okay, so there's an RV and a Jeep parked out, parked outside of the property, and a dog starts to bark. So it's nighttime. You see the RV, you see a truck, and all of a sudden, a dog starts barking. And this is how it opens. You're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, where's his RV? Why is there a dog barking? And then you hear Travis go, "God dang it, William, what are you barking at?" So I guess
can
Travis,
you dig it?
No, not can you. Oh, are you saying,
dang
can you dig it on your own? I thought you were saying when I said, God dang it. Okay. So then Travis, turns the light on. He has his little GoPro. So he's like, I'm sleeping. And then all of a sudden it's like 4:51 a.m. William just woke me up. He's barking, and he took off running across the field, and he's putting on his shoes, his clothes, whatever. He's like, I got to go see what's happening out there. So then they go to an interview with Travis, and he's like, for the past few days, I've been staying on the ranch so I can capture things as they happen. Then he goes outside and he hears something screeching. So he goes back into the RV and he looks at his laptop to see like what all his meters and stuff are catching. And I guess he's looking at like the sound waves because he's hearing this weird screeching sound off into the distance. And he can see this weird like reading going on his meter. And he says it's like turning on a radio, putting all the stations at one time, and they're all playing the same song at one time. That's what the level is at where the sound is coming from. And he's like, I have no clue what the hell this is. I've never seen anything like that before. So it's
do they have any other animals there besides the cows that you know of?
No, but they're out in the wild, so it could be like anything. But I don't know what could be out there that would be an owl maybe, but an owl wouldn't be like making the radio waves all bananas like that. So
maybe it was a Sasquatch stepping on a Lego.
Oh, that's possible.
Figured it out.
Okay.
You're welcome.
It's aliens, Red. Come on.
Aliens.
Yeah. Okay. So the next morning, they all meet at command center, and Travis stands up and he goes over to like a chalkboard, right? And he spins it around all dramatic and he says, this is what I think it is. And there's all these weird figures on it. There's all these numbers. And he's like, what if it's a wormhole? And what? You should see Dragon's face. He's like, okay. So he's drawn this weird, like, oh my God. You got to see that part because Dragon's like, what the fuck now? Like, come on, dude. So
did you say wormhole?
He draws this weird thing. It's like, okay, it's 70 miles across and it's coming from the bottom. He's like, he draws this huge thing and he's trying to explain it all. And Travis is like, maybe it's here. And then it's, it starts here, then it goes above, and he's like trying to explain it all. And Jim Segala, he's the scientist. He's like, yeah, I kind of agree with you. I'm like, good Lord. Now we have two guys saying that it's a wormhole. So he says a wormhole hasn't been proven. This is Travis saying, but it was a theory of Einstein. So Einstein is the one that thought of this wormhole theory. To this day, it still has not been proven. But what it is,
like on an acid trip once. I figured it out.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
Basically what it is like if you have layers of like dimensions, a wormhole is something that you can travel in between the layers. So that's basically what a wormhole is.
Well, they're saying that pilots, have gone through wormholes over Bermuda Triangle and crazy places like that. Right.
Yeah, exactly. So then they go to an interview with Brandon, and he says, before I took ownership of Skinwalker Ranch, it was cautioned by the Bigelows that we're dealing with forces that are very powerful and are not easily understood or characterized. One amazing story, not only by the Bigelows team, but others, are portals that have been seen by many in Homestead 2. Now, Homestead 2 is where the rundown little old houses are, where there's a lot of shit that happens, and it's right below the mesa right there. So what people have claimed is that a portal appears in midair like a window, and you can look into another world. Okay, there's a different type of skyline that what's normal to us. There's other landscapes that don't look normal, and they see that those portals and what they see in the portals is like very, very hard for them to describe. So they look in a way where we can't use our like English language to describe what they're seeing. And this has happened many, many, many times. So then they go back to the table, and Dragon, of course, goes, do you know how outlandish this sounds? Because Dragon's like, fuck, he wanted to dig, and now he's saying we're we have fucking wormholes. And then Travis like, yeah, I agree. It's crazy and it's nuts, but it's the only hypothesis that makes sense with everything that's been happening. But a hypothesis is not worth anything unless you can create an experiment to test it. So that's what we need to figure out. So maybe with ground penetrating radar and other measurements in the earth, we can possibly do this type of experiment. So you guys, this is the bananas part, you guys. This is so crazy. So days later, they have a team come onto the property. The guy, Philip Oviatt, he's a GPR expert, which is ground penetrating radar. And basically radar bounces stuff off of whatever might be buried in the ground. Mm-hmm. And then he has a partner with him named Zachary Zyla, and he's a resisting expert. I guess what resisting is it's almost like the same thing as radar, but they use like electrical currents. So they run these wires, run electricity down these poles in the ground, and if it's going to hit something, it's going to come back, and they can figure that out. So they're going to do these two types of testings. They're going to do the resisting, and then they're going to do the radar, the GPR. So they decide they're going to go to two separate parts of the ranch, and they split up in teams, and they go out and they do this. So they take all their equipment out, they split into the teams. Philip, the GPR guy, starts his machine. So he's sitting there, he's ready to start his machine, and it won't start. He just pulled it out of the truck. It's all charged and ready to go. He pulls it out, dead battery.
And what a bummer, man. Wow.
He's like, what the fuck? He's like so shocked because this has never happened to him before. And then they go get this other little, so they can't use that. They need to charge that. So he pulls out this other little thing. And when they turn that on, it's in the yellow. And he's never used it to the point where it's gone in the yellow. So he's actually never seen the yellow come up on his screen before. So Caleb walks up, and Caleb is our muscly ginger that comes out. He's security with Dragon. And he's like, you guys, look at my phone. So he's showing them his phone, and his phone is like, it's like on the keypad where you dial, and it's just like going, and there's like all these numbers just going across like a ticker.
Oh, shit.
It's just like 5, 4,
what?
6, and it's just going over and over and over and over and over again.
Did he try putting it in rice?
Yeah.
He said,
okay.
It accessed my my contacts and tried to dial a couple people, and then it's going into like my photos, and then it's like just hopping from app to app and doing all this weird
stuff. I don't want anything in my phone looking at my shit.
What the fuck, you guys? And then they're like, how long has this been happening? And he's like, for like 10 minutes now. And they're like, dude, what the hell's going on? So they decide, edit. So they decide that they're going to put that little machine on the back of their little UTV or their Rhino, whatever they have, and they're just going to drag it along the ground. It's made to drag, but it's kind of weird how it's dragging.
Weird.
And they're just going to run it until it dies out. They're going to just use what they got, try and get the readings that they want to get out there, and do it. So as they're doing that, the other team is out there. They're running all the electricity lines and setting all that up. It's really weird. They have to like put these stakes with a hammer in the ground and then wrap it with all these. It looked way too tedious. Like I wouldn't want to be that dude. So they go back to Dragon, and then Eric and Philip were there too. And Dragon's in the back seat, and Eric's driving, and then the other dude's sitting in the passenger seat, and they're looking as they drive. They're looking at like this little TV screen, and it's giving them like red little like pixelated like pictures of if they can see if it's hitting something. And as they get to Homestead 2, this weird dome shaped thing pops up on the screen. It's just all blank, and then all of a sudden you can see it's hitting this round arc looking thing. And he's like,
in the ground? I just want
in
to
the
make sure
ground,
I'm
under the ground. The radar is going down into the ground, and it's picking up this, like, it's hitting this dome like thing, right? And he's like, Philip, what could that be? And he's like, I have no idea. I've never seen this. I mean, it could be some type of metal that's buried, but it's so perfectly round. It's not like it's like ore or like, you know, like gold or silver or
is
metal.
It a UFO?
Could be a UFO.
Maybe.
So they're like, okay, let's turn around. Let's go back over and see if we get the same reading. So they flip a bitch, they turn around, and right at that same spot, you guys, they're getting the same, but now they're seeing multiple domes. And they get like maybe 4 on the top, and then, or like 3 on the top, and then 4 on the bottom, and then like 2 on the very, very bottom. So it's just these multiple like arcs up and down, like in this
weird. Okay.
And then, so then they go to an interview with Eric, and he's like, we're seeing these various multi-layered structures, and it's anywhere from like 8 to 24 feet down. So the closest is 8 feet down. 8 feet down is not that far, you guys, if you think about it. You know,
I know. Yeah, I had to bury a body once. Just kidding.
And you dug all the way to 8 feet. You know,
I was trying to burn calories. Okay. You know.
All right. And then Philip's like, you know, it looks kind of weird because it looks like it might be a tunnel because it has a top and a bottom with an empty center. So he says it could be some type of tunnel. So
interesting.
He says it's smooth, but it goes almost like, like there's a top and there's a bottom, and then it pinches at the ends.
Is it a wormhole?
And that's where I'm going to end this one.
But you didn't answer me. Is it a wormhole? Yes, no.
It's not a wormhole.
Hello.
Wormholes, I think, happen out of like plain air. Like it just like pops up, like a portal pops up. This is something that's obviously buried in the ground with arc shapes.
Interesting.
Where all the shit goes down.
Into it.
Right in front of Homestead 2. Right in front of the Mesa, there's something there. What's there?
I never ever.
Oh, there's something there.
Damn, I'm freak the fuck out.
Like
good job.
It's getting good, you guys. It's getting good. I've kind of like seen the rest of episode 5, so I know what's coming. But you guys, oh my god, it's getting so good.
And where can people watch this on their own if they wanted to?
It's on the History Channel. It's called The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. It's 10 episodes. I actually saw it a couple weekends ago. They played the whole thing on History Channel for free.
Oh, how fun.
But I bought it on Amazon for like $20, the whole episode, the whole season.
Okay. Cool. History Channel for the win. All right. Are y'all ready for the badass story of the week? We need a badass story, Dre.
Give it. All right. So, when was the last time you guys received a letter from someone you loved?
Oh, is this a way for you to make me really fucking sad?
I don't know.
I guess.
No,
I guess
it
I
doesn't
feel
happen.
bad now, Dre.
Yeah, it doesn't
I haven't gotten one either.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
You know
Those
what?
days
If
are
I'm gonna be
over,
honest,
guys.
I don't send letters. How about that?
Right? Okay. I don't
I
think
get
any of
Christmas
us do.
cards.
Mm-hmm.
Well, stamps
Letters
are
are
50
like-
cents now.
Okay, who's gonna afford that shit? Come
It's
on.
so much
Yep.
money.
I
You can
haven't
send
gotten
an
a
email for
letter.
free.
Mm-hmm. Or a text message
Yeah.
or call someone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. It's
Okay.
been a long time.
Yes. So we have Brandon Wolf, who is an English professor in New York. He lives in Brooklyn. He is a performance artist as well. So during this pandemic, he decided that he wanted to bring back this letter writing tradition. And how do you do that? Well, he sat himself down outside next to a mailbox with a typewriter.
Oh.
And he
I love
basically
everything
just
about this scene. Do
Yep.
it, Brandon.
do it, Brandon. And he wrote like on there, you know, letters for like your friends who might be sad or who might be blue, right? So he's like promoting this free service. He's sitting there just typing away whatever anybody says, and he's got he's writing the letter with the typewriter. He's got the envelopes, he's got the stamps, he's sitting right next to a post office box. How much more perfect would that be?
I need a typewriter.
What a sweetheart. And it's like an antique vintagey typewriter.
Well,
so
it has
special
to be.
though.
Love it.
I mean,
I
are there any other kinds?
Hello.
Isn't it so sweet? So
Aww.
he's been sitting out there recently, and he's now typed out 50 letters for people's loved ones, and they're able to send that out. It's just such a special, like, kind of a lost art that he's providing.
It is a lost art, Dre. I mean, when you read letters between people who are married during war times, right? To take the time to say all the beautiful, thoughtful things that we used to say to each other, right? We don't do that. We text each other, "What up, ho?" It's very different now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A letter's fantastic.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Hats off to you, Brandon Wolf. My goodness.
I dig
I'm gonna challenge us all to just like sit down and write a letter to somebody.
I want to do it.
Yeah,
I'm going to do it. Yeah.
I'm going to do it. Okay. I will write a letter to somebody tomorrow. Will you guys do that too?
Yeah, totally. Yes.
You guys have to promise and we will discuss.
Okay.
And
we got to take a picture of it. We got to take a picture of it with the stamp and the address.
I mean,
yes,
we have to have proof.
Yeah.
Because I don't trust you, Beaches.
I don't trust you either, girl.
You know, I kind of feel bad now because one of our friends has a daughter who was like, "Hey, does Aurora want to do a sticker exchange with my daughter?" And I was like, "Yeah, sign us up." And so they sent us this letter, and Aurora read it. She was like, "I'm not doing that." And I'm like, "Mama, come on, let's go, let's play." and she was like, "What?" I mean, it's her first time, but I'm gonna force her to do it now. And it's just one of those like chain things, you know, like, "Hi, this is me. I'm gonna send this letter to 6 friends, and you can send this, send stamps to the number 1 in line, and then
I
send
remember
a letter."
this stuff. Yeah, like when we were kids, we did stuff like that.
How much fun was that to get something in the mail, right, from somebody?
Yeah. That wasn't a bill collector. Like when you were a kid and you got a letter, this has my name on this letter. It's for me.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Those were the days when going to check the mail was fun. Now I'm just like, I'm gonna go check the mail.
I hate checking the mail. It's such a bummer, man. Let's just stop.
Yeah,
I know, right?
I think half of it, most of it's like trash, right? I'm like, recycle bin.
This is such a good badass story, and it's inspired us, Brandon. We are going to write a letter to somebody tomorrow, take pictures because we obviously don't trust each other, and then we will discuss on our next episode. Cool. So I think we should also challenge anyone that listens to the podcast, all of our handcuffers, to write a letter and then share with us who they wrote and what it was about, and did they get a letter back? Right? That's what I would love to hear.
So exciting.
That'd be fun.
I think this is such a fantastic idea. So everyone can check out Handcuffs and Sage at Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. You can always email us at handcuffsandsage@gmail.com. We have a website, handcuffsandsagepodcast.com. We have a Patreon page that gives you the ability to get some fun swag, things from us, stickers, other things like that when you help support your favorite gals. We put a lot of love and effort and time to the podcast, and it's always so nice when someone takes the time to leave us a review on iTunes. It's always exciting to see. We love that. Can you guys think of anything else? Did I hit everything?
Covered it.
Did I do it?
Yeah.
Oh,
you hit it, baby.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. And remember, we
do what we want. Woo!
We're so professional. So
all the time. All the time.
All the time.
Thanks, Zoom.
Yeah.
Fuck you, 2020.
Yeah,
all right.
Sure. Okay.
Have a good night, y'all. Bye.
Bye. Love you. Bye.
Bye. Handcuffs and Sage is hosted by Red, Timo, and Trey in a shitty guest room in Los Angeles.
Theme music is Leave Now by We Are Wasted. Cover art done by Megan Winchester.
Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Show us some love on iTunes. Be a badass and do what you want. Until next time.